Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Absolutely Criminal, the show that makes way more sense when you're stoned. You should try it. My name is Andrew Martin, and right beside me, as always, is Tiffie Lou. How are you doing, Tiffie Lou?
I'm alive. I'm here. Not stoned yet, though, unfortunately. We'll see.
We'll get there. California sober, they call it. Anyway, it's August 17th, 2023, and we're happy to see Renee and Amy55 and Bama Green Eyes here already. And it sounds like we have one viewer from the hometown of our first story.
Ooh.
And that is about a young lady named Mackenzie Shirilla. And she was just convicted of killing her boyfriend intentionally by driving into a building. So we'll take a look at that one. Have you ever gotten a hole in one in golf, Tiffany?
Andrew, you know I don't play golf. Okay, stop.
Okay, well, this man that we're going to talk about here got a hole in one. Mr. Moore is his name, Robert Moore. And he took a picture after the hole in one, and it was posted at his local clubhouse. And that picture, just a little bit later, would help solve would be evidence in an upcoming murder trial
I've never heard of this.
or
This is new
manslaughter
to me.
trial.
You
Manslaughter.
did not tell me anything about
Yeah,
this.
it's still pending.
He
But
just likes throwing me into these
I
messes.
do.
I don't know what we're talking about.
And speaking of other things I didn't tell you, do you remember the time when the FBI killed the lead singer of Nine Inch Nails?
I clearly don't remember the time.
No,
No,
when his body was found in a field.
no.
Okay.
I never followed Nine Inch
All
Nails.
right. Well,
Really. That was like Brothers Get Band.
that
Yeah.
totally never happened, but it's an interesting story, and there is a kernel of truth to all of that.
There's a kernel of truth to his body being found.
A kernel, yeah, I'd say a kernel. Yep.
Or like, is it just a finger? Like,
Well, yeah,
just the tip.
that's so dirty. As we know, the man is still alive. So, but yeah, so we'll get into that. First up, we have Leadfoot Prada Slipper. This is, what's her name?
Yeah. Shirilla or something.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Shirilla.
Mackenzie Shirilla.
I
thank
literally
you.
just found this today, and I thought it was a
Yeah.
pretty interesting story.
Yeah, I saw this a few days ago. She was recently convicted of killing her 20-year-old boyfriend and their friend, Davion Flanagan, who was 19. And she did it by intentionally crashing her car into a brick wall at 100 miles per hour.
Was she not concerned about her own safety?
That's a point of contention. Yeah, the prosecutor said they couldn't determine whether or not she wanted to do herself in as well. But they say that Shirilla turned slowly onto Alameda Drive from Pearl Road and then floored her 2018 Toyota Camry down the 3/4 mile street until it reached 100 miles per hour. And then a passerby would find it 45 minutes later. But there's footage of the crash, and we'll see that in our first segment here.
Called Hell on Wheels. The petite teenager shows complete shock as the judge reads the verdict.
This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
It's one of the most unusual murder cases in memory. The teen accused of slamming her car at 100 miles per hour into a brick wall, killing her 20-year-old boyfriend Dominic Russo and his friend 19-year-old Davion Flanagan, who was sitting in the back seat. In this surveillance video, you can hear Mackenzie's car whizzing by like a speeding rocket. Then you hear the crash right into the brick wall.
Terrifying.
Evidence at the trial indicated Mackenzie wore her fuzzy Prada slippers and that the accelerator pedal was being pushed down at 100% capacity.
Yeah, I mean, that right there, and that's probably from the black box, like we talked about last time. Your car has a black box in it, like a plane. So
Right,
they were
yeah.
able to determine that her foot was completely pressed down on the accelerator as they crashed, no braking or anything. So that was one of the big points of evidence.
Somehow, Mackenzie survived. Prosecutors said Mackenzie was on a mission of death and had methodically planned a murder-suicide. She even conducted a practice run several days earlier.
Her cell phone had been at the crash site just several days before this crash. And this is down an industrial park. It is not a cut through to where she lived. And so it was sort of an out of the way place for her to be.
At her trial in Cleveland, Ohio, the judge let her have it.
Mackenzie decided death was the ultimate goal that day, and she alone made that decision for Dominic and Davion.
Behind Mackenzie, her mother looks equally stunned by the verdict. Before her conviction, Mackenzie posted this bizarre video on TikTok.
I'm not even cool. I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die.
And on a memorial page to Dominic
age
Russo, Mackenzie writes, "God, you are the last person to deserve this. You had such a perfect life ahead of you. I miss you."
Yeah, so a lot of her social media posts like that did not age well, to say the least. The evidence of her foot down on the accelerator, that's pretty damning to me. And it would suggest to me that she did want to end her life as well. What do you think, Tiffany?
Okay, but all right, maybe. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, honestly, I'm surprised she came out of that alive looking at the
Yeah.
wreck.
Yeah.
But if I want to die,
Mhm.
and why take my boyfriend and his friend with me? Why not just do it?
Yeah, it's like that.
Why bring a crowd?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
why does he have to die too?
And that's been done before. That airline pilot, Andres Lubitz,
Just
years
rolls off the
ago.
tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Years ago, a German wings flight, he flew intentionally into the ground and took his passengers with him. I think we did a story about that a while ago.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're gonna go, first get help and don't do it. But you know, why take others with you? So, and Amy 55 said it really turned that town upside down.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was a disgusting version of one of her temper tantrums.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
yeah.
But
So,
what I don't understand, why is she so shocked by the verdict?
well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, her.
Did you think that they were gonna like be like, oh, it's all right, you were struggling?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess she hoped for the best, and but the sentence is pretty automatic, and I'll get to that. So, like we said, a passerby spotted the crash about 45 minutes after,
mhm.
and the camera captured her acting with purpose and intent. And then they tested her blood later, and she had THC in her blood. I'm not sure what if there's a standard for a legal limit yet. And I think somebody said she had mushrooms as well.
Oh,
I
well,
think I
that
saw
could
that.
change things because I'm like
And maybe.
stoned. I usually am slower when stoned. I'm not 100 miles per hour when it's stoned.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, there
I
had to
mean,
be something going on there. Mental health issues too, I'm sure,
oh well, yeah.
but substances. Um, yeah, and the video also included footage of Shirilla and her boyfriend arguing, uh, with Shirilla threatening to key her boyfriend's car. And doctors noted that she expressed grief, guilt, and shame about the accident, and the prosecutors used that as evidence of consciousness of guilt.
Well, okay, so that's why she was tried. Because I'm sitting here
Hmm.
going, somebody who wants to kill themselves, um, why didn't they try to claim insanity or something
Well, yeah,
to get out of a trial?
I mean,
Was that attempted?
I'm not sure on that, but like Amy said, she thought she was going home with time served,
Oh my
and
gosh.
if that's the case, I
But
mean,
she's
that's
a child. She obviously knows nothing. That would
yeah.
never be expected.
Yeah. So she was convicted on 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, and lists one additional charge. I'm not sure what that is.
Mm.
But it carries an automatic sentence of life in prison with no chance of parole uh, for 15 years. So she's got to spend 15 years and maybe show some remorse before she has a chance. Amy said she also robbed and desecrated a church 2 weeks before. Holy moly!
Oh, so she's got all kinds of little issues going on, doesn't
Yeah,
she? A
Wow. How did
church.
she desecrate it? Did she just tear it up and oh, that's terrible.
Uh,
Yeah. So obviously
yeah.
a few issues going on there, and none of them, I'm guessing, had to do with her boyfriend, or
Mm,
and certainly none were his fault.
right. Right. Maybe just that his fault was that he didn't get out of the relationship soon enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
So now
So
we're going to the strange stories I know nothing about.
yes.
Mhm.
Well, we're going to Florida, and
We're always in Florida.
yeah, we have family in Florida, friends in Florida. We love Florida, and we love it even more because of the sunshine laws there. They have a lot of information readily available online
That's
about
true. We do find out a lot of
criminal
interesting
cases.
things.
And this one is about Robert Edward Moore Jr. He's a 76-year-old man, and he lives in the Villages in Florida. You remember me telling you about the
I
Villages?
already knew about it. A friend of mine's
Yeah.
mother lives over there in the Villages.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to live near Orlando, and they even have that commercial was on all the time. I think it's a series
They have a few
of
of them, kind of like that we have out here with
mhm.
Sun City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
retirement
Because
community.
there's one in Gulfport near my mom,
Yep.
and I know Orlando area, maybe down south too. I don't know,
Yep, for
obviously.
sure. And they have a clever little ditty in their commercial that sticks with me all these years later. The Villages, America's friendliest hometown. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah, if you're
that's
from Florida, you've likely seen that on TV.
okay.
Anyway, so on June 28th, 2023, um, well, slightly before this incident, as I mentioned, Robert hit a hole in one
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, that's right, you
proudly
said that
put up a picture on his local
because he was so proud of it.
club wall. Yeah,
Right,
well,
mhm.
hell, I would too.
Yeah, I know, you would. Mhm.
Hello, Amelia Sparkles, and welcome.
Sparkles!
Sparkles. All right. Yeah, so he had the picture up there. Then on June 28th, he was in a parking lot of the golf course, and he got into an altercation with an 88-year-old man
Oh my
named
gosh.
Dean William Zook. And Robert believed that Zook had hit his car in the parking lot of the country club, and they were exchanging insurance information, and things got a little heated. We'll show you a little bit more about this now.
Possible 30-year prison sentence, accused of beating an elderly man to death at a country club. And he was caught all thanks to a hole-in-one he hit at his local golf course last fall. That Florida golfer, identified as Robert Moore, now charged with manslaughter after allegedly punching an 87-year-old man in the face over a fender bender. Those blows ultimately led to the victim's death. Investigators were able to positively identify Moore after a Google search took them to a local newspaper article showcasing a hole-in-one he hit last November. Police say Moore was spotted on surveillance footage minutes after that deadly fight, dressed in the same clothes he was wearing in that hole-in-one photo. Let's bring in News Nation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Jesse, there are so many kind of complicated moving parts to this story. The victim's wife, unfortunately, was with him when he was punched after he accidentally ran into this car in the club parking lot. And after allegedly throwing punches, Moore realized it wasn't even his car to begin with.
Wow.
Whoa!
Yep. So after he punched this man, he realized
Oh,
that
that's
is
not
not
my
my
car.
car. And then he just walked off.
What the-
Allegedly. This, it's still to go to court.
Yeah, it's a really, really sad case, and I'm trying to understand exactly why it happened. So he's charged with aggravated manslaughter of an elderly person. That's a very specific statute in Florida, and all that it requires is showing an utter disregard for human life. And you could argue that him not punching him once, but repeatedly punching him, knowing that he's an elderly person, that would fit into that category. And then I start thinking, well, what could be the defense here? How on earth could you justify this behavior that seems to be backed up by witness testimony, surveillance? It seems he's arguing a form of self-defense, that the victim put his hands on his shirt and his arm, and that's when he decided to throw a blow. But that's the problem. He threw multiple blows. And I think that's the part where this transforms into not a self-defense case, but something a lot greater. And it just seems so senseless over a nick of your car that's not even your car. It's just really tragic to think about.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too if, had he been playing all day, fueled by alcohol, who knows? But speaking of witnesses, when you brought that up, so then this anonymous tipster comes forward next day, says, hey, that's Bob. Then a Google search pops up, a local article from last fall in which he'd hit that hole-in-one. But will that identity hold up in court, Jesse? I mean, do police have surveillance video of the incident where they could make the ID match to that newspaper clip?
I would think so. If he's wearing the same clothes, he belongs to that club. And remember, they have identified the surveillance footage of him after the parking lot incident going back into the club, which I think doesn't really work too well against him because generally speaking, he should have called 911 after this happened or called police after this happened. This is some of the concrete ways that you match up surveillance footage because you don't always have someone's face. So clothing becomes a priority of an identifier. This seems like this is going to actually work here in this case, but also the eyewitness identification will be huge as well. And it seems the early reporting is indicating that when they went into the club, the deputies, they didn't get the kind of response that they needed to figure out who this was. So there's a lot that we also don't know about it as well.
And I have one more question for you. I know we just have a few seconds left. Do you really think that he believes that a judge or a jury will feel that this 6'2", 225-pound man felt threatened by an almost 88-year-old?
Yikes.
Problem is he's got no other defense. If he's not going to say it wasn't him, what else is he going to argue? There's not
if
much
the
he can plead
88-year-old
down
is
to.
packing heat or something, I could see maybe arguing that, but I think I could take an 88-year-old.
To claim he was
Maybe take some sort of deal, but at this point, like you said, aggravated manslaughter of an elderly person is a top of 30 years in prison. I'm not saying that's what he would get if he's convicted, but he's facing some serious charges right here.
Yeah, it's just terribly tragic. And thinking about that family this morning, it's a story we'll stay on top of. Jesse Weber, thanks as always.
Good seeing you. Thank you.
So he's presumed innocent until proven guilty, but man, that's just really senseless all around.
It kind of freaks me out, and now I don't want to ever join a country club. I mean, it wasn't on my top list of things to do anyway, but
with your disposable income,
these rich people with their tempers,
Amy says she wonders if Bob already had a reputation for being a hothead. I bet he did.
Oh, I'm sure. There's no way somebody goes off like that randomly.
And I've been on a golf course or two. And I noticed that people tend to drink during their rounds of golf.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So I think it's frowned upon officially, but there's never a shortage of coolers of alcohol and beer and things like that.
Holding a beer while you're driving your little golf cart. Yeah. I've seen that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, man, that may have been a factor in it, but doesn't excuse it, of course. So, all right.
Coming up next is that kernel of truth you told me about.
Yep.
I want to see it.
And it involves Trent Reznor's body being found in a farmer's field. First, I want to remind everybody to like and subscribe the video. If you're having fun, we have fun, and we love doing the show for you, both this and I'm working on still deep in the rabbit hole of, that sounds wrong, but deep a dive into the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case. Your audio is done, right?
Know.
And I'm working on the video, so that'll be up as soon as I can get it done.
I just show up and talk. I don't do much.
Well, you talk
Andrew does all the hard work.
You talk very well.
Okay, stop it. That's gross. Next.
All right. Moving on. So Trent Reznor, if you're not familiar, is the lead singer of 9 Inch Nails, a what would you call them? A new metal band or
new metal? They've been around forever.
Yeah. So
new to who?
Well, that's a genre of music, supposedly. So this story began in 1989 in Burr Oak, Michigan, when a farmer named Robert Reed discovered a group of weather balloons fastened to a Super 8 camera floating over his farm. Now, Reed assumed, and this is not, wasn't Robert Reed, didn't he play Mike Brady?
He did,
okay.
But we're not talking about him.
Yeah, I don't think
he passed away.
I'm going to go out on a limb and make a guess this is not him.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert Reed assumed it was surveillance related to local farmers being investigated for wild marijuana growth.
Wild.
Yeah.
The wild kind.
And being that he didn't have any wild marijuana growth on his farm, he referred that video to police.
Mm.
So the police get it, they crack it open, and they put it on the screen, and the film showed a male body with a strange substance on his face, and he was lying lifeless in a dark city street. And then two men were menacing over that body. They were leather clad and looming over him. And a third figure was captured running away from Trent Reznor. Well, now who we know,
You mean
but they didn't know at first because they get this footage. They see this dead man laying there
Okay,
with.
why does the dead man have to be Trent Reznor?
Well, we'll get to that. Yeah, I
Okay,
did get a little ahead
I
of
mean,
myself.
yeah,
but,
okay.
that's.
I would not have just come to that conclusion finding a body.
9 Inch Nails, Amelius Sparkle says, is a breed of its own. Super respect Trent Reznor, though. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his music. I know you're not so much.
I'm not. It's not that I'm not a fan. I really know very little of it.
Yeah.
My brother listened to it while I was listening to the Smiths. I don't really know their music, so it's not about liking or disliking.
Yep.
It's just unfamiliar. Enlighten me on your favorite songs, and maybe I will open my eyes.
Let's see. Joe Bailey says, hit the like button. Thank you, Joe, and welcome to
Oh
our
yeah,
live stream.
thanks, Joe.
Yeah. So anyway, this dead body in the field has got schmutz on his face, and there are people running away from him. A couple are looming over him. So when the police analyzed the footage, they identified the location as Chicago, and they noted the distinctive clothing of the criminals. And you'll see a clip from that footage.
Oh,
that
so
they
we're
saw.
not just getting your take on this.
Right.
Okay, good.
So the police there were kind of stumped, and they couldn't find leads, and the FBI shared stills of the photo with the public. And then a young art student recognized some of the scene, and he thought he knew who that figure was. And this is one of the band's managers, or was with the band that night. He was pictured, the man you're going to hear talking was pictured backing away from Trent Reznor's body in that video.
Okay.
And he tells the story. It's pretty entertaining.
So it's true. The FBI found a camera in the middle of some field in Michigan and looked at the film, and it looked like a snuff movie, like a snuff film, which is someone dying. And they thought it was a cult, and they saw this young man, and it was Trent Reznor, but they didn't have any idea. It was 1991, or no, not even 90. And we had filmed the Down In It video, and we had fishing line
Video.
which was old, on an old Super 8 camera on
Can you imagine
camera.
the police opening that up and seeing that?
in the middle of some field in Michigan, and looked at the film, and it looked like a snuff movie,
I
like
went
a
back
snuff
a little
film,
bit
which
there.
is someone dying. And they thought it was a cult, and they saw this young man, and it was Trent Reznor, but they didn't have any idea. It was 1991, or no, not even 90.
So it was a
And,
dummy?
No, it was actually him.
Oh,
Yep.
but not dead?
Well, clearly not dead, but certainly looked that way.
We had filmed the Down In It video, and we had
Yeah, there's the footage.
fishing line, which was old, on an old Super 8 camera
There.
on a balloon to create our crane shot. Because instead of using a real crane, we just the guys from the video directors, Ben Stokes and Eric Zimmerman, just stuck a Super 8 camera and pressed play, and then the balloon went up, but the fishing wire got caught on something and it broke free. So this camera with Trent Reznor lying on the ground and me walking away from him, and I was walking away backwards because they were gonna reverse the film so that it would come down and go down on Trent Reznor's face, but it didn't. So this cop finds this camera in a field. They develop the film and they think, oh my God, this kid is dead. So this amazing sergeant or whoever who was just about ready to retire, like, had to solve this murder in his mind. So he's
like, this I don't need. He's got this footage, and
this guy has a very interesting story to tell, but he needs to practice it because he's going to put me to sleep.
Oh dear. Well, a little bit left here.
They looked at the film. They had noticed that there were some L tracks, so they knew it was probably Chicago. And they used the map, and they went in and they started asking questions. And sure enough, the FBI got involved because they were trying to figure out what this was about. And all of a sudden they go, who is the man in this video, and is he dead? And they were like, no, that was for a music video. Sorry. And they're like, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. So eventually it ended up John Malm calling up Trent Reznor going, and that was the manager of Nine Inch Nails, going, Trent, are you dead? And he's like, no. And he's like, the FBI are on the other line and they want to talk to you.
And they're going to show a little bit from that Inside Edition?
I don't know.
No, hard copy.
You see, 1989.
I was watching a lot of TV back then. I remember hard copy.
Too young to remember any of this. Yeah, this didn't happen.
Oh yeah, you're a youngin. Yeah. So, and I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling well, Amelia Sparkles. But we're glad you're here. He's not the best storyteller.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Andrew said, "Oh, it's a great story. It's a great story, but he needs to hire out for that."
Yeah,
you know?
it seemed a little more interesting at the time, but I think it's fascinating. I'd never heard of this stuff.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, this reminded me of the Max Headroom incident, sort of mysterious.
Oh yeah, and I didn't know that either. That was an eye opener.
Because they found that video, that they found the camera that broke free during that video that you made a year ago. You know, and he was like, oh my God. So it ended up getting on hard copy.
A year after a filmed murder scene landed in a cornfield hundreds of miles from Chicago, police and FBI narrowed the case down to the victim's identity.
That
They
hair.
could be excused for wishing they'd never found him.
I actually felt bad for the police officer. He was trying to like do something good and
he's hoping to make detective. Yeah.
Well, he was about ready to retire.
Oh,
And he's
really?
like, this
This'll
can
be
go
a
out
great,
on a bang.
great high end. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
bring, you know, the murderers to justice or whatever. In his mind, he was trying to solve a crime. So, but Trent actually thought it was really funny because he was making a fool out of the authorities, and, you know, it was like a practical joke. But it wasn't a joke, and, you know, it was just it was just a bad camera. It was a bad camera crane, you know.
And I felt kind of good that the police made idiots of themselves, you know.
Did you say idiots?
I saw the report. We taped it. We laughed. You know, we were dying. I was like, you can't bypass that like that. Awesome.
I know. It's more like 9 Inch Noise.
We were like, we're gonna be on hard copy? No way! Like, we were so happy. Like, you know, we were like, our band was a tiny little band, and, you know, with Bon Jovi and all this stuff on the radio, we thought 9 Inch Nails was always gonna be this underground thing. But, you know, so I was like, yeah, I just can't believe that we were on hard copy, and my mom and dad are gonna, you know, see it, and blah blah blah. You know.
All right, he's done.
Yeah,
so that was before the band got big, and
Yeah.
I didn't.
I didn't even know who they were till about 93,
Yeah.
to be honest. So.
Oh yeah, Tiffy
Yeah.
should have told the story next time. All right, Monday, you're telling the
I'm
story.
not gonna retell that. I'm like
Well,
half
not
awake
this story.
right now.
We'll have you read a new story.
He should start reading bedtime stories. Is what he should be reading.
I mean, you are the narrator of Absolutely Criminal. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, Nine Inch Noise, that seemed like the reporter, more like Nine-Inch Noise, you
Uh-huh.
know? Um, so
Classy.
obviously he hadn't heard of the band back then, but yep, so that was the time the FBI killed
Trent Reznor.
Trent Reznor, and, that's all we got. We thank you for hanging out with us tonight. This was kind of fun,
It
right?
was, and, we didn't have social media back then, so you didn't have one of those things where you go on Facebook and find out Trent Reznor's dead. This is why we didn't know this happened,
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
Oh, yeah, we would have known today,
Yeah.
and there would have
Eh
been rumors online, and
Right, right.
it would have been an even bigger press event for the band.
Okay, I know we're already over 30, but I gotta bring this up.
Oh,
Since we're
good.
on the social media topic, I'm going to rewind, sorry, to the
Awesome.
first episode, what's her name? Michaela, what's her name? Michigan. What's her name?
Oh,
Mackenzie.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Mackenzie. Um, this is the thing. And okay, and I might be reaching here, but I have a theory.
Reach, Tiffy.
Could the fact that kids nowadays interact mainly via social media and so forth, that it might be affecting them
Mhm.
emotionally, how they handle interacting with people.
Yeah.
She's unhappy with her life. She just want to be with her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Back in my day, I just would break up with someone. Okay.
Yeah.
Awkward conversation, but it's over. You know?
Oh, I believe it. I mean, even at my age, I'm getting to where all my interactions are virtual.
Yeah, yeah. And most of my yeah, I got hired for this little part-time job
Yeah.
from a text. I got a text. You got the job. Yay! Okay. I don't even remember the sound of your voice because we've only spoken once. And I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, it's an adjustment even for me. I've gotten really, really dependent on my phone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the one thing I do still remember at least how to do is interact with human beings.
You do a better job of that than I do. I stay in my office and I edit videos mainly.
Yeah, he never leaves. He's just a little corner of the house. I don't know. It's just a theory, but how many people like see what I'm saying, like regarding like social media
Oh,
with
for
with
sure.
youth,
Yeah. I mean, even our 8-year-old, she's been born into I can't imagine, like, being born into a world where all the information is at your fingertips immediately. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
yeah.
My dad used to tell me to look it up.
Yeah.
That
That was such a
sucked.
chore.
Yeah. Could you just tell me the answer?
Yeah, social media has changed everything as we know it. And, yes,
Definitely. Yeah.
Sparkles brought up, yeah, thank you for modding it up, Renee. The blue wrench looks good on you.
I know. She got a
And
little promotion. I
yeah,
know.
and speaking of, looking good on you, that, little emblem next to Amelia Sparkles' name, that means that she's a member of Insider Information, and that's our little club where you pay $2.99 a month, and we give you
It's not like the country club though.
No,
Yeah.
no, yeah, there aren't many
You won't get the crap beat out of you for scratching a car.
yeah, very often.
Well,
But you will get exclusive audio from Tiffany. We're gonna put her
yeah, you basically get
Mhm.
the audio version of the show right away because that's done first, and
Yeah,
then Andrew does all the fancy tricks after that.
right.
So,
And then
you'll
when
hear
the
it right
video
away,
comes out, you get it 2 days early
definitely to
and,
view it. Mhm.
some exclusive episodes as well. So check that out if you're inclined, and please remember to like and subscribe, and,
And tell a friend.
tell a friend.
Mhm.
Tell that weird friend that's never really said
It's
anything at
like
the
the new
office.
pickup line is, "Do you like true crime?"
Right. All right. Well, that's where we're gonna leave it. My name is Andrew. This is Tiffie Lou.
Yeah, yep, that's me.
Yep. And we will see you on Monday. And take care, everybody. We love you.
Have a great night.
Under the trees, I found a box of black pearls. I couldn't believe that it could change our romance.
Oh, thank you, Bama, and everybody that showed up tonight. We had a really good time. See you on the next one.